Let's take a look at our classwork and check it. If I'm looking here, I know my common denominator is 9, so I'm going to rewrite it with that 9 there. And I get 4 3/9 plus 3 4/9. I don't have to make these improper. Here, I can just go ahead and add them, and I get 7 7/9. For B, remember any whole number you can make into a fraction by putting 1 on the bottom. Now I'm going to see my common denominator is 7. So I'm going to do 1 times 7, 8 times 7. I get 56/7. Now I'm just going to subtract across the top, and I get 53/7. Now that's improper, so I'm going to divide. This would go in 7 times. I get 49, which gives me 4 left over here. And then I'm going to make this into a fraction now. So I have 7 4/7 is my final answer. Before we can multiply our fractions, you need to make them improper. Let's go ahead and make this improper now. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 4 would be 25/7. 1 times 5 is 5, plus 2 would give me 7/5. Now remember, I can simplify on my diagonals. 7 divided by 7, 7 divided by 7. Right? And then I can also simplify these diagonals here. I'm going to divide by 5, divide by 5. And make that a little bit smaller. And I'm going to rewrite that now. So 25 divided by 5 gave me 5. 7 divided by 7 gave me 1. 7 divided by 7 gave me 1. 5 divided by 5 gave me 1. Now I'm just going to multiply across, and I get 5/1, which equals 5. Again, when I'm dividing fractions, the first step is to make them improper. So 8 times 1 is 8, plus 7 would give me 15/8, divided by 7 plus 3 is 10/7. Now remember, for dividing fractions, what's our rule? Keep, change, flip. We're really multiplying our first fraction. I keep the first one, change it to multiplying, and flip the second one. We're multiplying by the reciprocal. Now I'm going to simplify my diagonals. Divide this by 5 and this by 5. So I'm going to rewrite it now. 3/8 times 7/2. I'm going to go ahead and multiply. Whenever I have an improper fraction, what do we need to do? Make this into a mixed number. 1 5/16 here. When we're adding and subtracting decimals, we need to line up our decimal points. So line up your decimals here. And you should have gotten 56 9/10. We're going to do the same with our next one. Let me line up those decimals. 29 is a whole number, so the decimal goes at the end. I'm going to go ahead and subtract now. Line up that decimal, and we get 109 7/10. Always remember to show your work. Okay, now when I'm multiplying, I don't need to line up those decimals. Now that I multiplied the first row, remember when we start the second row, we add a 0, right? And now I'm multiplying by the 5. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 6 is 30 plus 4. 5 times 0 is 0 plus 3 would give you 3. 5 times 4 would be 20. Now I'm going to add my two rows together here. And now I add my decimal back in. So I'm going to move it over one space, and I get an awfully large number. So here, right, is my answer. Okay, now let's divide. Remember, the second guy is late. He needs to go outside. So now we're just going to divide. 4 goes into 33 8 times. I bring the 6 down. Remember, there's a decimal here. Put your decimal up top. And it goes in 4 times 8.4. Remember, it's very important to always show your work. You're going to lose half the points on your summative on Monday if you don't show your work. Let's classify these triangles. If I have all 3 angles that are different, then that means all 3 of my sides are different. So even though these look similar, if the angles are different, all 3 are different. So this would be scalene. If I have 2 that are the same, that would be isosceles. And 3 that are the same, this would be equilateral. Okay, remember, you need on Monday to check your Canvas messages for your question group. Mrs. Feynman is going to tell you, and let's take a look at that. So this is what you're going to look at when Mrs. Feynman emails you in the Canvas messages. You're either going to be in question group A or question group B. So if you're in question group A, you're going to answer these into your book creator that Mrs. Feynman just shared with you. Make sure you show your work. And last but not least, you submit as a PDF. Okay, please remember, Mrs. Feynman is not available after 4 p.m. So start early Monday. Right? After 4 p.m., I don't check my email. All right, thanks, math friends.